I'm so corny. All right, hello everyone. My name is Justice Devon, and I'm going to tell you guys how I got into tech. Anyways, I got into tech when I was 16 years old. I got into a tech competition for web design and I won second place. And then from that moment on, I knew that, okay, I like web design, but I don't know exactly what it's called. And I kind of want to do something more than web design, but what is it exactly? So after 16, when I won that competition, I was like, okay, this is definitely what I want to do when I get to college. So as graduation approached, colleges came by for career day and pretty much told us what all they had for their schools to, like, you know, for recommend for bachelor's degrees, starting out, what you want to do with your career type stuff. And there's one school sparked my interest, and it's called Southern Poly State University. Woo woo. But they're gone now because Kennesaw took over. So I went to Southern Poly for wait, let me reverse. I'm skipping steps. So they came to career day. Southern Poly came to career day, and I was like, okay, this is the school I wanted to go to. But the kicker was I didn't have the GPA to get into Southern Poly at the moment. Because back then, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I didn't take high school that serious. I didn't really care about high school. I hated being in school, but I was like, I know I need to go to college to be successful, so I gotta suck it up and do it anyway. So I didn't have the GPA to get into Southern Poly Tech, but I had the GPA to get into my state school at home called Darton State, and which is now Albany State West Campus. Go figure. So I went to Darton State for IT. I did the little core basic academic classes. Passed those, stayed there for a year. Then I moved to Atlanta to go to Southern Poly State University. So as I go to Southern Poly State University, I changed my major to computer engineering technology, which I had no clue what that's about because I just saw the word computer engineering and I was like, oh, software engineering, I can do my web design stuff. I was wrong, not the same thing. So I'm taking these classes, and the cool thing about Southern Poly is they let you take your class, like they let you take your academic classes and you're gonna take your major classes. So you'll also be soldering while you're taking like math 1100 or whatever, English 1100. I don't know, don't remember the terms, but anyways, I was able to do some real work. And when I got into computer engineering technology, I was like, this is a lot. I don't like it. I couldn't wear nails to class because I had to solder, and if you solder, your nail's gonna freaking do weird things. It's gonna melt because the solder tools are so hot. You can't wear nails. So I was like, this is not for me. I'm a girly girl. And then one thing I did not look into when I was applying for that degree was how much money they make. So one day I just sat down, I was looking, I'm like, okay, Justice, I gotta make a career change because I don't want to be a solderer. I don't want to be an electrical engineer, but I know I want to be an engineer, and I wanted to do with something with web design because I remember when I was 16, I won this competition. So I'm just thinking, going through the list that Kennesaw has to offer, because at that point, now Kennesaw took over. So it's still 2015, Kennesaw took over Southern Poly like August of 2015. So it's summertime by around this time. I'm thinking, I need to change my major. I need to change my major. I don't like this. So I go to my advisor. I talk to her. I tell her what I'm interested in. And she tells me that they have this program called software engineering, and I can get my bachelor's degree in it, and I can also do web design. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's pretty dope. I would like to do that because that sounds like what I want to do anyway. So I canceled. Well, I got rid of the computer engineering technology major. I got rid of all that. I had my courses to somehow align and transfer, and how I just won't have to be in school longer, basically. So I got all that situated, and I started taking software engineering courses. Now, one thing I did do when I looked into software engineering, I looked at their salary and saw how much they make. When it became to software engineering, I saw that they make around, at that time, I think it was like 86K. Like the median was 86K. So I'm like, you know what, that's doable because I know my lifestyle. I'm bougie. I wouldn't say I'm too bougie, but I like expensive things and I like nice things. I grew up having nice things, so I want to continue having nice things. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll stick with software engineering. It sounds great. Money, awesome. So as school rolls around, it's time to go take these classes. With software engineering, I didn't know I had to do back-end coding. Now, I remember doing front-end coding when I was doing my web design competition. I remember I had to do front-end like HTML, CSS, but I don't remember doing any back-end. So with software engineering, it was very broad. I did not know that either. I learned that it was a very broad major, and you can do pretty much project management, you can do software back-end development, front-end development, you can become a technical business analyst, you can become a QA, you can become a lot of things basically being a software engineer. So I'm okay, cool, I have options. I don't have to just stick to coding like back-end. Back-end coding was definitely not my thing. I didn't like it. I pretty much failed every back-end coding class I had, but when it came to front-end, I was okay. So I was like, okay, I'm understanding it, I'm getting my niche, and I think I'm understanding what I really want to do in my future. So as sophomore year, I think, passed by, I'm into my junior year. Of course, the more coding classes, more coding courses, and I'm starting to meet more software engineers. I'm starting to meet more people who does the same thing that I do, and we have like similar interests and likes. But one thing I realized that it's a lot of men. It was hardly any females. I was always the only female in my classes, and I kind of liked it because it was different, because I'm a different type of person. I like a challenge. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm the only female in here, and it's nothing but guys. So I was always getting like, I wouldn't say the hard, how can I explain this? It was just sometimes hard to deal with professors, because one time I came in class with I came in class with this laptop. I came in with this pink laptop, and the professor was like, oh, Justice, you're in my classroom with all this pink on. And I'm just like, okay, what's wrong with pink? All right, sorry you guys, I had to fix my lighting. It was being weird. So I left off where it was kind of hard for me being a female, because I always come in with like the girly stuff, and I wasn't just like a tomboy girl whatever. Like, I was a girly girl who liked to get their nails done, get their hair done, come to class looking bomb, and I'm over here with all these guys who can't even open the door for me as I walk through the building at school. So I'm like, okay, this is what we doing. Okay, so it took me a minute to adjust to that, to get used to it, figure out how the guys, aka nerdy guys, but they're so sweet, and I loved everybody who I had class with. All the guys were really cool, even though they sucked at socialization, but they were great tutors, all of the above. So besides that happening, junior year, I get into this course called user-centered design. Now, user-centered design is where it deals with how to understand your users and how they think and how to design for them. It was a great course, but what was so crazy was I never took that course serious either, because I felt I wasn't really learning as much as I could have, and I was really excited to take it, but when the instructor was instructing, she didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, this don't make any sense. I don't even care about this course anymore. So I stopped coming to the classrooms because I didn't learn anything. In my opinion, I didn't learn anything. So I stopped coming and just started doing my work at home. But what's so crazy was she gave me an I. No, she gave me a D at first. She gave me a D for the course, and then I got an I, because she told me that she wanted to see me and have me come to her office because I wasn't coming to class. So I'm like, okay, cool. I go to her office. She explained to me why I got an I, and she said that she see a lot of potential in me, value, and I'm very creative, and she wants to see me do more and do better. So she preferred that I would take the course over the summer, relearn everything so I can get my A that I deserved. Because I felt like I deserved. But to her, she felt like I didn't deserve an A. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I do it. So I retake the course in the summer, and she gives me like everything I need to know, like stuff that wasn't even taught in the classroom when it came to user-centered design. So I'm like, okay, cool, this is pretty dope. Like, I like this. And I was like, okay, I think I like this better than I like web design. You know, just being a front-end developer, it actually gave me the option to interact with my users, talk to my users, interview users, understand market research, user research, just understand people in general. It's more like a psychology class mixed with technology. So I was like, that's pretty awesome. I love to talk. The guys in this class don't like to talk, so I'd rather do this. So I'm like, okay, cool, but what is this called as a career-wise? Like, what's the title? So then she goes to tell me it's called UI UX design. That's all I need to hear. So I'm like, okay, cool. I look up UI UX design. I learned everything I need to learn about it. Now at this point, I become self-taught, because after that class, it was no more user-centered design classes. So after that, I become self-taught. I signed up for General Assembly, and I was like, I'm not gonna sign up and take General Assembly until I graduate college because I don't want any distractions. So after I take my user-centered design course, I jump into my senior year of college. Now, remind you at this point, career fairs are coming up, resumes need to be done, grades need to look on point. I'll say grades wasn't looking on point, resume wasn't done, but I was so in tune to start my own business, I didn't even care. So at this point, I began to start my own business. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna practice working on doing websites. I'm gonna practice doing mobile app design on my own, and I could just do all this stuff later on this semester. The semester flew by so fast, I forgot to even freaking sign up for companies in a career fair. So by September of 2017? By September 2017, that's when I signed up, get my resume out there, letting people look at me. And don't get me wrong, your girl was getting callbacks, okay? I was getting calls, I was getting interviews, but something was just missing in these freaking interviews. So I don't know what it was. But then I'm like, man, why people ain't hiring me? Like, I'm good, my resume looked dope. But then I realized I was applying for positions that, that wasn't really suiting me as a career person that I wanted to work in, you know. So like back-end development, don't like it, but I do it if I just have to. I was like, man, I don't see myself doing back-end development forever, but I'm really into this UX design stuff, but my school is not teaching this right now. Well, long story short, one of my roommates back then was actually trying to become a UX designer. But come to find out, Kennesaw did have a UX design degree program. I just didn't sign up in it, and by the time I saw it, it was too late and I needed to graduate. So I was like, I'll just do it later or get it as a master. So as that happened, I'm getting calls by companies, but they're all for back-end development positions. I did not want to be a back-end developer. I was like, you know what? I need to take everything off my resume that says back-end. All the coding stuff I learned in college, I need to erase it and just act like it never happened, okay? So after that, after that around January, I was already in this organization called NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers, but I never really participated in the meetings. So around January, I started participating in the meetings because one of my friends told me that she was in NSBE and she got an internship and she got a job like quick. Like they was handing out jobs like it was Oprah saying, you can get a car, you can get a car, you can get a car. So I was okay, cool, I'm gonna go out to NSBE. So I go to NSBE meetings, I meet up with everybody, I pay my dues, I pay for this trip because I didn't have a sponsor at the time because I waited till the last minute. So my mom, thank God, paid for everything for me to go to NSBE in Pittsburgh. So I go to NSBE in Pittsburgh, and at this point I redid my whole resume. Like, I put some coding stuff on there, but I made sure it was like more UX focused. So I get to NSBE and I see all these companies like Google, Lockheed, Twitter, I see Microsoft, I see United, Delta, like all type of big name companies. And it was pretty cool because I'm like, wow, like I never knew I can get this close and be so connected. So what I did was I started marketing and branding myself when I got down there. I went to go get business cards. I got like a whole bunch of stuff. I got like, I started working on my LinkedIn profile, and your girl was taking off, okay? So at NSBE conference, because it was like a week long, I'm at NSBE conference with my friends and my colleagues or whatever. And I go interview at these companies. Now, how NSBE work is you drop your resume off to these companies. Well, actually, you got to do a speech. I won't even say you got to. It's best if you do a speech to sell yourself, like your little elevator pitch. You go sell yourself for like a good 10 to 15 seconds or a minute if they really like you. You go sell yourself, and one thing about me, I'm a great talker, not to sell myself. So I did that, excellent. But then when it came to them interviews and they asked me these back-end questions, I lost it. I'm like, man, I don't want to be a back-end developer. So I was interviewing with Google, I was interviewing with Twitter, I was interviewing with Pinterest, I interviewed with Lockheed Martin, I interviewed with Harris Corporation back in Florida, I interviewed with Draper. Like, I was getting flued out. I mean, it was crazy. Like, people was flying me out. I had people give me offers. But then that's one thing I learned, that I needed to learn how to negotiate a salary. I didn't know how to negotiate a salary. So I was like, I don't know what I'm worth. I don't know what I deserve. So I went back to the room, figure out how much I'm worth, how much I, you know, how much I feel valued. And I did that through dice.com. If you go on Dice, create an account, put in all your skills and how long you've done those skills, it'll give you like a range of how much you're worth or how much you should ask for when you're like trying to get your salary and negotiate. So I did that and that worked, but I was like, I'm not sure if I want to move to certain places. Like California would have been cool, but I know me, I'm not a California girl. So I was like, I kind of want to stay in the East Coast to be close to my family, like Florida or Georgia. And what happened with that was some companies I actually turned down, and some companies it just wasn't a fit. And what's so crazy was Google. Now with Google, I had 4 rounds of interviews. I had 4 rounds and I made it to the final round. But they wanted me to be a software engineer, but like more like front-end engineering. And I was like, okay, I can do that, but I really want to be a UX designer. And they told me that I can't become a UX designer until I have a few more years under my belt. But I'm like, how am I gonna get a few more years if you're not trying to let me be a UX designer? So anyway, that happened. And the day of graduation, I kid you not, I'm walking down the what's the thing called? I'm walking up to the stage to go get my degree, right? Google calls me while I'm walking up. I think my ex still got it in his phone. I don't know. My mom. Somebody got it. Somebody got the video. So Google calls me as I'm walking up to tell me that, hey, we're calling to let you know that you didn't get the position, but we would like for you to try again next year. So I'm looking like, I know they did not just call me to tell me that I didn't get the position and try again next year. So I'm pissed at this point. I'm walking down the stage, whatever, about to get my degree. And then I'm so focused about Google phone call, I forget my name tag thing. So I forget my name tag thing. I have to go back and go get the name tag, run back to my spot to make sure they don't misspell names and miscall names. It was just a big old hassle. But long story short, that's how your girl got into UX UI design. So after graduation, I'm still not even done. It's more to continue. After graduation, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm here. Can start kicking me out in like a day after I graduate. I gotta find somewhere to go. I didn't get a job yet because I'm over here being picky because I know my worth. I know my value. I know what I deserve. So I'm like, man, what I'm gonna do? So after graduation's over with, I go home back to Albany, Georgia, because that's where I'm from. 229 stand up. So I go back home to Albany, Georgia, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do something because I can't stay at my mama's house. Lord knows I love her, but she get on my nerves. We can't be in the same area for longer than a week. I was going crazy. So I was like, oh snap, I got General Assembly coming up. So I need to go back to Atlanta to go do General Assembly. So I go back to Atlanta, stay at my auntie house for a little bit, and I continue to do my General Assembly courses for UI UX design. Now remind y'all, I'm still freelancing while I'm like out of college, like still doing business card, resumes, websites, mobile app design, because I'm self-taught. So I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna freelance, I'm still gonna do my business, but it ain't booming, but I'm gonna do something. Give cheap prices something, so I can say that I got experience under my belt and I'm self-taught. So I go to General Assembly classes and they're cool, they're great. I did part-time, not full-time. So I do the part-time courses because I already knew some of UX. I just needed to touch up and make sure I wasn't missing out on anything that I didn't know, which was great because I learned more things that I thought I knew, but I was actually probably doing them wrong. So I was like, okay, I learned the right way to do things, basically. And sorry, my computer's doing weird things. So General Assembly was great. It lasted for like 2 months because I started in May. It was like towards the last week of May I started, and then it ended in July. So I did that, and I'm in between time, I found like a mentor for UI UX, and she kind of helped me work with how to tweak my resume, how to do my portfolios, how to get noticed, how to, you know, have people to actually see my value and my worth when it comes to UI UX and not just be a back-end developer. So I'm like, okay, cool, I like this. This is pretty cool. She's helping me. And General Assembly had like really cool meetup stuff, meetup organization meetings about what to do, what not to do in UX. And I was like, that's great. Now for those of you who don't, okay, so for those of you who don't know what UI UX is, first of all, UX is user experience, and then UI is user interface. So with UX is basically you give the users the look and the feel of what they look at when they come to a website or a mobile app. It's like the journey they go through to understand, and you got to help of understanding and helping users gauge in your product. UI is pretty much, it's the interface, it's the look, but we'll talk about that later in another video. So this is story time, which was so crazy because it wasn't supposed to be a story time, but anyway, that happened. So yeah, I got into everything like that. But my main goal for that summer was to learn to not get discouraged and not give up and just keep praying, and God got you. Cause I'm like, he didn't bring me this far for what? Like, I know I got a purpose in life, but I got to figure out what exactly my purpose. And I knew my purpose was doing something with mobile app and web design, because I got an eye for design. I'm great at these things. But I'm corporate great, in my opinion. Like, I could be other type of great when it comes to web design, but I know I'm great for like corporate businesses. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I got a purpose. And I know I deserve way more than what these people are trying to give me, because in these interviews, I had guys tell me I'm not worth more than 45K. I had guys tell me I'm not gonna make it. I had people tell me this is a male dominated field and you're too girly. Like, you'll be surprised with all the comments and the hate that I've gotten, but I'm just like, okay. Like, even on my birthday, I got a call and I had to decline this offer because he told me I wasn't worth more than 45K. Honey, 45K is nothing for me, and I have a whole bachelor's degree in science in software engineering. You're gonna tell me I'm not worth more than 45K? Okay, I let that be. But it's so crazy because he called me 2 months ago talking about something he wanted to have me work for his company, but I'm like, you just told me over the summer last year that I wasn't worth more than 45K. Did you forget? Anywho, now while that's going on, I'm also updating my LinkedIn, keeping people in the loop, and that's how another reason I got popular too, because of LinkedIn. LinkedIn helped me a lot. I got noticed a lot. People was very helpful, giving me great feedback, ideas, what to work on, what not to do. I made a lot of friends on LinkedIn. And all I can say is, when you go through a situation like that, it can be a depressing stage. Just know your worth and know your value, and keep practicing on your skill, your talent, and keep growing, keep learning. Go to these meetings, go to these organizations, and just do your best, because oh, you also gotta learn how to talk to people too. It's all about social skills, and don't be fake and phony like that. Please don't. So after that happens, and it's going on for some time. Like, I'm over here doing many little contracts. I'm just doing anything, because I know I didn't want to be a contractor who just do a contract for 6 months here, 3 months there, contract for 2 months there, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. So I talked to this one company, and they found me, actually. They found me, I think, off of Dice. That's what they found me off of. And because at that time when they found me, I was booming like crazy. I was having interviews. I had like at least 6 interviews a day. Like, looking for a job is a job, if y'all haven't noticed. It really is a job. And I was having like crazy interviews back to back to back. Hold on. All right, I'm back. But yeah, I was having interviews like back to back to back, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm actually getting popping. Like, this is crazy. I'm getting blessed. I'm getting more offers. I'm getting offers that I want. I'm getting the big girl numbers, y'all. So I'm like, okay, bring them my way, Jesus. What else you got? So that's happening. That's going on. I get a call from this company around Labor Day weekend. They sent me an offer off the bat. I had a phone interview, and they was impressed with my phone interview, and I got an offer. But at that time, I had like 3 other offers too. So I was like, man, I gotta make a decision by this weekend. So I made a decision, and your girl's still at the company now. But all I'm saying is, anything is possible in tech. Anything is possible. Anything you want to do, do not give up. Find your purpose, and make sure you know your lifestyle, because that's also a big thing too that I'm going to talk about in another video when it comes to negotiating salary and determining how much you're worth, because you can't be out here throwing out random numbers, and you can't go too low and degrade your value. So I'm going to talk to you guys later. I want you to like, comment, subscribe on this video. If you want another story time, just write me and just tell me what you want me to talk about. I got more content coming up, so if you guys are interested, just keep on waiting. Talk to you later. Bye.